There's a conversation about the comparison between the CIC, Julius Malema, compared to Ungamalala, President Jacob Zuma, as to who is the best politician in South Africa. Of course, this topic didn't just start as a comparison between the two. And this topic was started by Politically Incorrect, where the brother man who owns the show, the host, interviewed Nota. In the interview with Nota was asked, who is the greatest politician that can be compared in parallel with the CIC Julius Malema in his age group? Nota was given all the time, all the opportunity for him to name anyone politician in Julius Malema's age group that can be compared to him and be like, yeah, there's Julius Malema, but there's also this one. He failed to do that. He jumped all the hoops. He jumped all the age groups above Julius Malema for him to reach the conversation of him comparing Julius Malema to Ngamalala. So there's no one else that Nota you could compare Julius Malema with but Ngamalala. He went on and said, and I agree with this, Ngamalala, let's be honest, I'm not an MK party member. I will never be. I'm not the biggest fan of President Jacob Zuma. But Ngamalala, in the greater scheme of things, he is a far much better politician compared to the CIC Julius Malema. And there's many reasons for that. There's plenty reasons. One reason is that Ngamalala, he has the longevity of experience, He's known that he was once the president of South Africa. He's known that he's very old. He's 83 years old. There's a lot of experience Ngamalala comes with in this conversation compared to the CIC. The CIC has never been the president of South Africa. The CIC was not there during the struggle times of apartheid. But Ngamalala was there. He has that credit. And he has the credit of being in many generations in the politics and the economical politics of South Africa. For him to have seen certain things and understood certain things which the CIC hasn't understood. And another reason is that the CIC is half the age of Ngamalala. So of course, the CIC is still very young compared to Ngamalala. By age, the CIC is a small boy. Ngamalala is older than him. By experience in politics, Ngamalala is far, far more experienced. He wasn't just a revolutionary, of course, in Umkhonto weSizwe during apartheid and all of that in the military. He doesn't just have that credit. He has a credit of being a president for 9 years in South Africa. And before that, he was also a deputy president, being part of the decision making of South Africa. So of course, he experienced politics in South Africa in a greater scale compared to the CIC. So the comparison between the two is unjust. And not to say that Ngamalala, as I'm saying, he's a far much better politician compared to Julius Malema, like Nota is saying. I'm not trying to discredit the CIC. I'm not going to do what Nota did, because Nota is saying discredit everything the CIC has done. It's like the CIC is useless. There's nothing positive he has contributed as a politician in South Africa. That's what Nota is saying. So me, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that because there's a lot the CIC has contributed in the politics of South Africa. Plenty of things. We can go on and on and on. We can name them. We will still name them for you. You will still ask us, what has the CIC done? So there's plenty of things. Even you guys who ask those questions, you know what he has done. But of course, Nota he failed to name anyone in the age group of the CIC to compare him with. He named an old person, Ngamalala. Someone who, imagine, I wonder how the CIC feels like when you see conversations like this being held where he's compared to Ngamalala. Imagine the CIC is always compared with everyone. He's also compared with Ibrahim Traore. He's also compared with Thomas Sankara. He's always being compared with people, and they're saying, nah, these greats were better than him. They never compare the CIC with some regular, unqualified people who are just done nonsense. They never compare the CIC with Abu Andile Mutamba. They never do that. They're always trying to compare him with the greats of the world. Which, look at this one, understand this. What has the CIC done? Comparing those big guns. They never compare him even with people on his level. People who have never even been in government. They always compare him with leaders of countries and all of that. Makes you wonder why. And I wonder what the CIC feels like being compared to Ungamalala, because I think it's an insult, first and foremost, to compare the CIC to Ungamalala. I think that's an insult. And it's a benefit to the CIC as much as the CIC hasn't accomplished much compared to Ungamalala. It's a benefit for him because it's being compared to this old guy who has lived double his life. He's not being compared to his age group. He's being compared to someone who has lived double the life he has lived. Imagine what President Jacob Zuma has managed to accomplish, managed to see. Him being compared to someone who haven't seen half of those things. Imagine what an insult that is. Imagine. But Malala, he's a better revolutionary. He was a president, he was building bridges, he had free education, all of this and all of this. Comparing all of that to someone who has never even had power to implement any policy in government, as in like a sitting president or being in cabinet as a minister. You are comparing someone who was once at the highest powers of presidency to some guy who runs a political party that has 9%. Who's benefiting here, even though you are saying that guy who's a 9% political party leader is far useless than the one who was a president for 9 years. Even though you say this one is better, it makes this other one look even better because you are comparing him to this one who you are saying is better. I don't even know if that makes sense, but I know it makes sense. You get it. There's no way you don't get it. You get it. So who is actually winning from this comparison? Because I don't see Ungamalala winning anything from being compared to the CIC. I only see it as an insult for him. So he can't be compared with other greats. So you have to compare him with this boy. This boy, I agree they call him a boy, the CIC, this boy. Not me, I'm just saying, many people say Ungamalala is older, so this boy. So you have to compare Ungamalala to this boy who runs a 9% political party. And you think, hi, by comparing him and saying Ungamalala has done a lot, he hasn't done a lot, you are doing justice to Ungamalala and you are shaming him. You are actually trying to tell us that he's the great to ever be because he can only be compared to Ungamalala and there's no one else that you can compare him to. That's what you're saying. He failed to name anyone. He didn't name anyone in the age group of Julius Malema that can be compared to Julius Malema. Guess what? He jumped the age 50. He jumped the age 60. He jumped the age 70. He went to Ngamalala's age 80 and compared a 44-year-old Julius Malema to an 83-year-old man. Who's winning in a debate? Who's winning in that comparison? Let's be honest. Who's winning? Imagine your father is 2 times your age. 2 times your age and you're achieving something in life. And the only person they can compare you to is your father. They can't compare you to your age groups. They compare you to your father. Imagine the insult that is to your father. Imagine. But I know you get it. Don't act like you don't get it. But as we see it like that, like there was no need to compare the CIC to Ngamalala. There's no need. There was no need at all. But it is what it is. Thank you very much. Thank you.